course, I was unable to make it here today.
A sort of a more inward-looking policy in the U.S. And obviously Malaysia. It's not kind of completely positive in the sense that we are expecting in the run-up to the elections, if they're being called in September, October, we'll probably get a lot of political noise, right? And a lot of headlines and a lot of sort of I guess the usual election-related kind of disagreements between the two camps, right? And that probably will be a little bit more exaggerated this year, given what's at stake, but also given where we are coming from in terms of the sort of the political noise that we've had in the last couple of years. Now, the question is really whether this will be sort of enough to sort of derail the overall growth story in Malaysia. My sense is, as I've explained before, not really. Primarily because again the bigger factors are at play, and two, the sort of the expectation is because the opposition is relatively weak at this point, or in fact maybe weaker than where they were back in 2013. I think the chances of having the coalition of Prime Minister Najib winning and maybe winning more seats is a real possibility at this point, right? And again, from an investor standpoint, what matters for them, especially for foreigners, is what that implies for some of the reforms that we've seen in Malaysia, whether these things will continue. And I think it should be clear by now, for example, as far as fiscal reforms are concerned, despite the sort of the political pressures that we've seen the government was facing in the last couple of years, they've went ahead with GST and subsidy rationalization, which were not so popular. Right, so I think that should sort of give investors some confidence that if there is a similar government that takes over or continues to run the government, I think that should encourage investors in the sense that there's probably not going to be major changes to sort of the reform agenda, the funding on infrastructure spending and the plans to implement the transformation program. So these things will probably be intact under a Najib government. And the alternative is obviously much more uncertain because there's no track record, right? So I think the prospect of having for the opposition to kind of win more seats would be seen as more negative, primarily because of sort of those reform measures become less clear under their watch.